What up, what up, what up?
Welcome to the weekend. Welcome to SunDogs Present Local Vibes. We are SunDogs, your two favorite canines, a.k.a. Good Boys, a.k.a. the Maniacal Mutts. We've got another fantastic show for you. Make sure to follow us at SunDogsTC on Instagram, at Linktree/SunDogs, and the Facebook page radio show, SunDogs Present Local Vibes.
You can email us at sundogstc@gmail.com and send us clean radio-edited songs, send us information about the events that you're performing at, send us...
nominations for interviews.
To be interviewed.
Yeah.
sundogstc@gmail.com.
This weekend at the College Performing Arts Center, we got Merges in March.
Yes.
Lieutenant Sonny, Fair Play Entertainment, is being featured. In these programs, they pair two artists in unconventional collaborations. Lieutenant Sonny and Herb Johnson III perform a combination of spoken word and movement art. And again, that's tomorrow, Saturday, March 12th, from 7:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m., and Sunday, March 13th, from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Tickets are available at thecowlescenter.org. That's COWLES.org/tickets.
So just like that, we could be talking about your event, sundogstc@gmail.com.
This week we're joined in the doghouse yet again by Phillip St. John.
Yes, what up, what up?
Wow.
How you feeling? How you doing? Thanks for making the trip across the river here.
Absolutely, man. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling ready.
Yeah, we're about to dive on in. We've just we got about a minute more of business to take care of, and then you're going to be in the hot seat.
That's right. Check out Phillip St. John on Instagram, at Phillip St. John, all spelled out. Saint spelled out.
Facebook.com/PSJMusicMPLS.
Stream the Sun Indigo EP everywhere.
Everywhere.
We'll be checking in, chatting about the creation of that project, what's on the horizon, and more here in a few minutes.
Our last interview was with Julia Page, and LYA Rook came through. Our next interview is going to be E.B. Marie.
Submit questions for E.B. Marie to sundogstc@gmail.com by midnight on March 13th.
That's right. But yeah, last interview was Julia Page. All of our episodes are archived at anchor.fm/localvibes, on YouTube at our YouTube channel, SunDogsTC.
And Spotify and Anchor as well. You just type in Local Vibes on Anchor and SunDogs Present Local Vibes on Spotify. It's that easy.
It's that easy. You can also hear replays of our show Mondays on WFNU and Saturdays?
Saturdays at 7 on KRSM. 3 ways to listen live.
Yes.
94.1 FM.
Boom.
Go to the App Store, search 94.1 FM WFNU, download the WFNU app, and enjoy easy listening to Frogtown Radio anytime, anywhere.
Yeah, the app's pretty slick.
And the third way, my favorite way, is to listen and watch live on YouTube.
What up?
Call in now to ask a question. Tell us what you're looking forward to most this spring. The equinox is on March 20th. Mm-hmm. Give us a call, 651-313-5125. If you don't swear, we'll put you on the air.
We'll put you on the air, 651-313-5125. What was the number you were saying?
I don't know, maybe Drive 105's number or something. More information can be found on Instagram at Phillip St. John. That's Phillip with 2 P's. That's the double IP.
That's right.
Again, song requests, upcoming events, and local artist nominations can be emailed to sundogstc@gmail.com. And I think that is the dobus.
That's the business. Thanks for being patient, audience. Thanks for being patient, Phillip St. John.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Hey.
It has been a long time. 2018, we had you in here.
November of 2018.
Yeah, that's right.
You had just released the sound.
Yeah.
You're talking about your Valentine's Day poetry contest when you're
from your origin story.
Your origin story. Yeah.
Oh man.
And
yeah.
So we got through the origin story.
Takes me back.
Talking about the sound, and then the end of it, you were excited to be working with this jazz guitarist, working on a project.
Yeah. Definitely.
Is
Wow.
And so that's where we left off. I'd say we pick up right there, at least to a check-in before we talk about Sun Indigo and this new project.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that last project was really dope. I worked with Nick Baker. He's in multiple bands, and we created some jams and did some stuff. You know, released something on Bandcamp, and then after a couple shows, I was like, all right. It felt like a very transformational thing that was necessary. Where it wasn't necessarily like big or huge or like really that great for my fan base in a sense. Like it was really one of those low key things that like went under everyone's radar, and yet it was paramount for my transformation, which came from it, where I started expressing myself look wise and music wise more fluidly. So yeah.
Very, very cool. And is that out? Can people listen to that project?
Yes, it's called Infant, but it's like a joint EP, so it's not just mine. It's Nick Baker and Phillip St. John. So if you look up Infant, there's a couple tracks in there. But more recently, last year I released Sun Indigo, and then the only thing after that guitar project and before that project is I had my Breathe song and video, which people really loved, and that was fun. So yeah, I've been busy.
Wanted to mention the Care 11 thing. What was all that about? Saw you rapping on Care 11. Is that what was going on?
Yes. So I actually hired a publicist, just to try it out because my friend Mama Rose hired a publicist, and I was like, well, I'm gonna work with your publicist because, she got her like on the current, and then she got her stuff played, and I was like, cool. And then I had a different journey. I'll say that, and I'll say everyone's journey is probably going to be different. You know what I mean? When anytime you interact with someone, it's always individually unique. You think it's going to go one way, and it's like it goes other ways, and then sometimes the way that you want it to go, but you're like, whoa. So I had this interesting period where I had to turn off my anxiety and my overthinking to trust this person to put my stuff out, send some stuff out, and then wait for responses. That was the hardest part about it. And eventually she hooked me up with the Care 11 gig. It was their last spot that they had for their summer series. And I know Nerdy opened up, so they were already cool with rappers and stuff. Cleaner rappers. Yes.
Classy.
Right. So yeah, that was a really cool gig. Care 11 was awesome. I was super nervous. I couldn't sleep the night before.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what was the pressure like for that? It must have been crazy. Cause I mean, you perform on stage all the time, but it's was it different?
You don't got 3 cameras pointed at you.
Yeah, it was cool because I got to see the background process of a news station.
That's got to be awesome.
And so that kind of demystified some stuff. Mm-hmm. And if anything, it made me more impressed because they had a whole broadcast room where there's just a bunch of people staring at a screen it was NASA, and they're looking at a launch. I was like, whoa. Broadcasting is no joke. It is very planned, and these frontward facing people who are the personalities are the glue, and then they're also the glue, and their glue has to mold together in the perfect way. You know what I mean?
That had to have been so cool to see them behind the scenes.
It was great,
and it sounded like it helped with some of the anxiety.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool. Like I said, I didn't sleep the night before. I got maybe 2 hours of sleep.
Oh.
So I was all greasy faced.
What was the call time?
I had to get there 5
a.m.
a.m.
Yeah.
I actually got there 4:20 a.m. or something.
Were they doing those live? The when it was on TV, were you doing it right then?
Yeah, it was live.
And then they rebroadcast it at the 8 a.m.
Because, you killed it. Definitely rose to the occasion. That was a perfect performance.
I was glad there was a gas station right across the street. I ran across and got a super caffeinated drink and just slammed it. It was crazy, though. It was all off the limb. They didn't tell me. I guess, I didn't know what to expect. They didn't tell me what they were going to ask me. They didn't tell me that I had to do 4 songs or more songs. They said do 2 songs. And so I prepared super heavy for these 2 songs. And then one of them, they cut off halfway, and they're like, oh, we cut to commercial. And then they're like, you got 2 more songs? And I was like, I do. So it was like, whoa. But I was glad I was prepared.
Yeah.
And
I had
Yeah.
fun, and the DJ came with me, Benjamin. He is DJ Uish. He was super dope. He came up all the way from like Mankato, and it was so funny. I was just like, I'm on Care 11, and like nobody in like Minneapolis is like, dude, let me get on. I had to like look for a DJ. It was so weird, and it's Minneapolis for you though,
such a great opportunity and such an amazing performance. If you haven't caught that performance, you can catch that, I think, on YouTube.
It's on YouTube. It's on my page.
Yeah.
It's up there.
Check that out.
I was very grateful for them for allowing me to upload that on my platforms, just to be like, I have that now. Like I have this performance. I have stuff I've done. But it's very interesting, like the streaming world is so different now that, even with all that stuff I did, it was like, it doesn't necessarily lead to another this or that, or like, I thought, of course, what else do you think?
You
of course, I
broke
got
through,
more
you
TV
made
shows
it,
to do.
yeah.
I got people who are going to book me left and
Lining
right.
up, yeah.
Nothing really happened except for like a lot of people from my hometown were like, I saw you on the news. It was cool. And I was like, great.
There you go. I mean,
so for a while it was it. So I was like, you know what? Show business is weird. I will say that. You don't know what's going to make people like really like catch on,
Precisely, and that nightmare for me is it's going to be a song that I don't feel 100% confident about. But the producer's like, nope, go ahead, release it. It's good. And then people just, go ape over that, and I'm performing it.
gotta make a whole album like that.
Oofta.
Yeah.
So that was after the release of Sun Indigo, or that was?
Yes, that was after the release. That was in August. So right around that time, I learned that I was like a semifinalist in the amateur talent contest at the state fair. I'm just thinking like stuff I did last year.
Yeah.
too.
Precisely, yeah. I'm missing information, so
And
please.
that was
yeah.
cool. I lost to a classically trained piano player and opera singer.
Whoa.
And I was like, I feel like those aren't amateur skills though. If you are like actually trained in that, like you're not an amateur. That's just my opinion.
I completely understand where you're coming
but
from.
I got it. I was like, but I'm not gonna hate. The opera singer I'll never forget. Even when we were like in our groups and they were giving us the rundown of what happens if this, that woman had like the most sure and positive energy about her. I just remember being like, whoa, her energy is like out of this world. Like I feel like she's gonna win. And she like came out and sang, and like I was like not even mad. I was like, dang, I gotta collab with this chick or something.
Interesting, yeah.
And so it kind of reminds me to stay humble and know that everyone has their moment. And even if you have a moment, what happens then? You have to get more moments. It's just like it's like a weird like work thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so interesting.
And I think, as to that opera singer, you said that she was an opera singer and
No, it's two separate people.
Oh, gotcha.
So it was like a bracket of like 6 people or 8 or something, and like I don't know. Afterwards, though, one of the judges, chased me down and was like, "Hey, that was like your performance was like really good. It's just you were like 0.5 point. You lost by like 0.5 points or something." And I was like, "That's cool that you're telling me."
Thanks.
Still, I guess thanks. I was really close now. I don't know, but it made me feel good though. I was like, well, if my rapping and singing is on that like that close to like a classically trained opera singer and pianist,
must be heading in the right direction.
Must be,
yeah.
Right? So yeah, I mean, back to that like whole era though, Sun Indigo. So that was a project that came out of me after I had like quit music for 2 months or whatever.
Yeah, the hiatus.
Yeah, I did. I was all dramatic and stuff. It was great.
Well, I mean, what was the origin of that? If you can talk about that. If you don't want to, we can just keep talking about Sun Indigo.
There was a lot of stuff that happened.
So after the stuff, how long did it take from the stuff happening to the release of the project? Like, how long did it take you to make the project?
That was like about a year. But like I didn't start making it until that January, and then I released it in June.
Okay.
So it was really one of those things that was like supposed to like happen because it was necessary. It came out of me. I couldn't have stopped it even if I wanted to, and that was the reason like why I was like, wait a minute, I can't stop playing music. You know, I got in this like self-care routine after like feeling so like defeated. I was playing like chess every day. I was doing like looking at inspirational YouTube videos, watching anime, working out. But eventually I was like, this isn't enough. I need to do music. Like I am so even though I'm doing so much, I'm bored because I'm not doing music. And it's interesting how that was like the thing that like made me go, okay, well, maybe I'll write something. And then this new producer I met through Mama Rose, Jason, who's like my lead producer guy who helped me with this album that's coming out this year. He had like this beat tape that he made, and two of them, the beats that he had, I was like, I really like, can I write over these? Like, I don't want to like impede because they're like, and he was like, oh yeah, you know, like I don't really have like listeners or whatever. Like I'm putting it out for me and then like whoever wants to listen, but you can use these. And then like we shaped two of those songs that were like the core of it, which was Where We At Now and New Pavement. So those two songs.
That's the dream, is where no one else has taken the beats.
Yeah. Because he was just going to like release them like that. So.
Yeah, I assume that was his goal, is for people
I mean, he
to
still
want
released
the
them,
beats.
so I don't
yeah.
know. I'm just glad they're not taken down, and then I'm not hit with copyright. He's not hit with copyright. I don't know. It worked out. They were probably like, you guys are small enough.
He produced the majority of Sun Indigo as well, or just this upcoming project?
He produced two of those tracks, and then I found the rest through other people like online. And then for this project, he produced one song, but he helped, and I produced 4 songs on the new album. So I stepped more into like a leadership role. I had 2 songs from an old collaborator roommate who I was like in like a mini band with for like a short amount of time.
Sorry to interrupt you. We got to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Phillip St. John on SunDogs Present Local Vibes. Welcome back to SunDogs Present Local Vibes. It's the SunDogs sitting down with PSJ. That's Phillip St. John. You can follow him on Instagram at Phillip St. John. That's 2 L's. That's the double LIP.
PHL-LIP, St. John on mic.
There you go. And 2 P's. You were right earlier.
I mean, how else would you spell Philip, though?
I don't know.
It does
with
have
an F?
Before the break, we were we interrupted him talking about the formation of Sun Indigo and of this new project that producer that produced 2 tracks off of Sun Indigo is producing 1 track off of this upcoming project, correct?
Yeah, he's produced a track, but he's so important for like the shaping of the tracks with me because
of all of them, not just the ones he produces.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
like
cool,
he's not just, even if I bring in a beat, it's not like he's just mixing it. He's an idea wizard too. You know, idea wizards are dope.
A think tank.
What's the Instagram handle on your boy? What's his DJ name, or what is he making music under?
I think it's just Jason Faye.
Jason Faye on SoundCloud?
I don't know if he has. I don't even know his like handle stuff. He's more of like a. He does
because you're such close
He works
friends.
at a DJ entertainment company thing.
Whoa.
So he'll like do that, and then he'll like do the music stuff with other people, not just me. So like he's not really like full time releasing his own music.
Gotcha,
He'll make beats and like storm up and be like, "Hey, here's a cool idea I made by myself," and you're like, "Oh, cool."
Sounds like a guy I gotta meet.
Yeah,
I'm glad we got this.
He definitely. I mean, like, yeah, you hit me up afterwards. I'll give you the contacts. You know, everyone else can't eat up all his time. It's DJ wedding season though. He'll be busy until next fall probably.
So you said that it sounded like you weren't feeling as creatively fulfilled during your hiatus / self-care, period.
Yeah.
And would you say that the music, you said it kind of flowed out of you? Was the music there and it spoke through you, or?
Yeah.
How effortless was it compared to other?
Honestly, I think before this project, I had to with the sound, it was fun, and it was like it wasn't that much of a struggle. There were some parts I like struggled with, but with Sun Indigo, I felt like every single track like came to me and I didn't force it. And all I was doing, I was looking like online for more beats though, and it was getting me in tune with what was coming out. There was a lot of indie and indie guitar, ionosphere sounding, like the same indie stuff like Mac DeMarco, Tame Impala, like that vibe was like everywhere. So there was like some tracks that influenced some of the vibes. There was just other older pop music that made me want to make something cleaner and like less depressing or like intense, I guess.
Yeah,
And like
less The Cure and more Panic at the Disco.
or like less Idea when he's like intense and like sad or angry and you're like, whoa, that's a lot. But it's honest. But like I kind of like reeled that in a little bit. Even though I do have some like, some intense emotions on there, but
tapping in more to the universal truths versus your truth.
So searching for the beats kind of shaped the vibe of the project.
Yeah. And afterwards, I was just really proud of myself. Charlotte, Tom, Mama Rose, Thomas C. Corton, as he'll release his music under. They helped me. Tom played on a bunch of guitar on some of those tracks, actually.
Very cool.
You're blowing my mind right now. I thought that was all part of the initial instrumentation versus...
No.
Wow.
That's the thing. And
wow.
I actually did play piano. He played guitar like on the second part of New Pavement, the You Say song. Like that was I had that idea before I was gonna record New Pavement. The night before came to me.
So
I
you
just
guys
wrote
are
it down.
Mixing instruments into the beats that you're finding?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Honestly, that I would recommend that because like most of the times people will make instrumentals that like if you just add vocals over, you have to be really dynamic. So I'm that type of person where I'm not always trying to be dynamic in a sense of like what I'm saying or how I'm saying it. Sometimes I just want to like rap or sing or tell a story, but then I have to add extra stuff, and that's kind of like how I felt like because I first started rapping because of Kanye, and I felt like his instrumentals were and like the background stuff was like crazy. And his words were like more simple because, you'll ask any like rap fan, Kanye is usually not like their top 5 lyricist, right? Top 5 producer or whatever, but like lyricist. And yet the songs that he made like they were so huge sounding or they were so, and like that's like the type of like thinking that I take from it is like, what do I need to add to this to expand it and make it be more than just a simple loop of like 2, 3, 4, 5 instrumentals. Or tracks on one instrumental. And so that was my process on Sun Indigo, was just adding a little bit. I think there was like one instrumental I didn't even have to add anything. It was just like perfect as it was.
And
just super nice.
Mainly local producers or all across the world?
All across the world. I guess I don't know where they're from. I know they're not from Minnesota. There was a guy from Chicago. I don't know where the other guy was from. Honestly, like it's weird because you'll talk to people online and like you never know how much availability they have, and some people only talk to you if you like have a problem and they're like, "Oh, there's a problem. Oh, I'm so sorry. How do I fix it? My money. I gotta get it right,
Exactly.
And then it becomes normal. So it's like it's interesting because for my new project, I hired a lot of people on Fiverr to add instrumentation because one, I'm not gonna lie, they are hella cheap if you find the right people. Because a lot of people will play like they know what they're doing, but they're not like so career serious that they're like give me $200 if you want like one line of like my cello. You know what I mean?
Or give me 30% of the back end.
But they're like, this will take me.
That's another thing. When you do Fiverr and you hire musicians,
it's just a session musician.
It's a session musician. You pay them, and that's it.
Bing bang.
I got this drummer from Italy for one of my tracks, one of the craziest tracks ever that I've ever made, and he was excited. I showed him another track, and he like the next day, like he sent himself playing drums over that track. Like I didn't use it because it was like not the drums I needed, but like I was still like, yo, this guy's like into like he likes my music. That's really cool. Like
he'll be the drummer when you tour in Italy.
Right? That'd be nice. So yeah.
That's
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a phenomenal way to juice up these beats that, musicians are finding. Add your own flavor. Add the more dynamic stuff to it. Don't feel like you need to fill it in with your voice. You can add an instrument.
I mean, and that's the thing. I'll do that too. I've done that. Like, I will layer the heck out of my vocals and just like one track I have, the same one that the drummer's on. It has like 140, 160 stems of sounds because I wanted to make a song that was equivalent. Like, I describe it as my Bohemian Rhapsody, basically. And that one's been like 2 years in the making.
Where it's like the whole song is like a crescendo. No. Three-fourths
It's
of the
not
song
necessarily like as crazy, and I realized from listening to it that like it was such a hard song to make because I put so many sounds in, but they were like constant and then I realized I was like listening to like Welcome to the Black Parade by My Chemical Romance too. And I was like, oh, they actually don't use that many elements. They just like have really dynamic stopping points. So next time I make a song like that, I will make it differently. But this time I was like, well, I know how to like put 160 tracks and like, like a lot of them will be stacked and you could still hear everything.
And what program are you working on?
Ableton. Occasionally I'll use Reaper because my roommate gave it to me and I would record vocals on it. And they have a lot of free vocal VST like manipulation tools that you can use.
Cool.
That Ableton doesn't really have any, I don't think. So, yeah, not default. That's what I mean. So Reaper's pretty cool.
And this is that really dynamic song that's on this upcoming project, correct?
Correct.
With the drums, you said 104, 160?
160 track outs. Actually, I think it's more. It might be at this point. I think it's 170 like final.
Oh my goodness.
That's wild.
Super wild. When you hear, I mean, I've showed people like at like little events and get-togethers, and they're like, "Wow, that's crazy," and I'm like, "Well, good,"
Exactly.
like that's what I went for, like
It should evoke that sense of disarray. It sounds like.
Yeah, it was a whole journey. Because my roommate moved to Atlanta, and we broke up from our music thing because I was like, I quit music, and for a while I didn't know what was going to happen to the songs. And then he's like, here you go, but my drum program crashed, so you have to like redo all of it, and I don't know the tempo isn't like straight, so I had to like put it together in such a janky way, and it still worked out. And I was like, okay, I can do it. It costs a lot of money to do though.
Oof.
Hours in the studio just to organize things, and even outside of the studio I was still organizing. It still takes that long. It's crazy.
What else can you reveal about this upcoming project?
So it's called Divine Wisdom, and it is unlike Sun Indigo. I think every single song is like super personal. I think I don't have any. I think I had like 2 songs that were like nice but like still vague, and then some songs are like pop songs like that, right, where it's like I don't need to reveal like all of my deepest life to you, but like I kind of like went into like different levels of like the track that I brought in for you today. The Morning is gonna be the first song on my album, and the whole concept of it is you are waking up with me. So it's kind of like things that I think about when I'm waking up, my like morning routine stuff, and like how I've realized when I wake up, obviously I'm not just playing my own music, but like there's been so many times where like I realized if I wake up and I don't scroll forever or doom scroll, and I put on really uplifting music that I like, that I vibe with, like right away, it like it changes the trajectory of my whole day. And so like that was the whole point of making this song. And then it just follows this. I always try to follow like Idea. Earlier I said Idea super influenced me. Him and Kendrick, they both kind of like made albums in like a fluid river of life, tree of life type of way, where it like it's a journey, and it goes from like super happy day to like kind of like
dark reflections,
recovering after being broken type of night, and then just goes back again. It's like that's how every day is. Not every day. No, that's like it's like life though. Basically,
yeah, you're making me thinking about
I'm
the
going
Man
through
on the Moon albums.
Yes. Yeah.
Same
trajectories.
Ending
man.
with the hope, ending with the positivity.
That's right. So I can tell you this new album. I made 4 tracks, and like I said though, Jason is still like quintessential to shaping like. Even though I made The Morning, he added a bass line that sounded like it reminds me of like an elephant. Like I don't know, it's so fun and like it really makes like the hook of the track. It's just super fun. And let's see. Well, I also made 2 of the interludes separately. So, but the other tracks I made the final track. So the first and the last track is very interesting. I made the title track, and that one's kind of like it's a weird vibe, and I like that it's like the title track because like Sun Indigo, the title will come to me before I make it, and then I will have to think of like what it is that like is. I'm like, why am I thinking of this? What is this? I called my project Sun Indigo before I even made the track Sun Indigo, and then one day I woke up before I had studio time, 4 hours before studio time, like noon, right? And Jason was like, hey, I know this other producer from Chicago. And he's like, look through his beat folder. I found the Sun Indigo beat, and I wrote 3/4 of the song, brought it into the studio, decided to work on it that day, finished the rest of the song in the bathroom or whatever.
Wow. I gotta go take a dump. Finish the song.
and then my roommate played violin in there too, and then Tom played guitar in there, and it was one of those things where it's like
lightning in a bottle.
You never know how things come to you, and sometimes it's like in the ways where like you didn't even have a choice really. It was like, you know, you're gonna make me like, and I'm coming through you, and it's gonna happen. And so that's probably the coolest story about Sun Indigo is how that came together.
Can you reveal how long Infinite Wisdom is?
Divine Wisdom?
Divine Wisdom, I'm so sorry. I gotta write that down. I thought I had it.
Divine Wisdom is about, it's like 5 minutes, less than an hour. So
it would fit on a record.
Yeah, and like To Pimp a Butterfly, it probably will be like a good driving, because
little burn cruise.
Anything that's like story stuff. You know, I know people listen to podcasts and all that. I still don't get those, but like
they're good. You're learning stuff. Depends on what you're learning.
I guess. I'm just more of I guess I'd rather listen to 3-minute songs, huh?
I understand.
But it's storytelling. It's storytelling. I'm telling you about my life, and I'm leading you different places. The first chunk is like the more positive aspects of like what I see in my life. The second chunk is like kind of like outside influences, like trying to like attack you a little bit, and like how I defend myself from like those things. And then the last chunk is having to deal with like relationships and like a couple different relationships, and but then ultimately it always leads back to like yourself. So I kind of finish out strong on that too. So
like the discovery, the epiphany.
That's right.
That's exciting. I look forward to listening to that. When can fans expect that? Or your reps? Your reps are saying, your reps are shaking their heads. I don't know if you can reveal that information.
There's a solid drop date on it.
I'm gonna say May.
There we go. You heard it here first. We got to take a break, actually, now in 30 seconds. Follow Phillip St. John, Phillip St. John on Instagram, Facebook, Phillip St. John.
PSJ Music, MPLS on Facebook.
And Phillip St. John to listen to any of the projects. The Sound, phenomenal project. Sun Indigo, phenomenal.
I would buy The Sound on a record. Because it's a jam.
Might be time to remaster it.
And it's got a good album cover for a LP.
Yeah.
Fits with the times.
We got to take a break. We'll be right back. And we're back.
Welcome back to SunDogs Present Local Vibes. We are in the dog house with PSJ, Phillip St. John. You can follow him at Phillip St. John on Instagram, and PSJ Music, MPLS on Facebook.
Heck yeah. I think it's time to squeeze some advice out of you before we play these songs.
We've got 10 more minutes, so we'll get a little advice, and then we'll talk... one thing at a time.
Right.
So, target audience for the show, artists who want to do art, want to be in the music industry.
Yes.
So we like to ask people who we perceive as doing well. Little secrets, little hacks.
So between 2018 and now,
yeah, what have you learned? What have you streamlined? What do you got?
What have you
Or
learned to
a very
outsource?
specific question. When you're looking for beats,
Yes.
you say you're looking, so either SoundCloud, YouTube. How do you reach out to these producers?
Well, I've used BeatStars a lot, mostly. Usually people on YouTube will have BeatStars, and you have to be like really careful because you have to figure out if they still have stuff up, because sometimes they'll leave stuff up on YouTube that is sold.
on
they-
BeatStars.
They'll usually say sold, well, somewhere. It'll either be on YouTube, and you're like, "What's up with this?" You have to make sure that whoever you're working with, you just have to do your research, because you never know. Some people will like. I found really cool producers on YouTube, and then you realize, oh, you are using samples from songs that are like new. You cannot do that.
Right.
I mean, you can't. I mean, honestly, I think it's shiesty.
Right.
I think it's like really awful, and I had to like.
I mean, unless you're gonna say this song type beat, unless you're saying that this is your attempt at making this beat, then it is
But
definitely.
It's stealing,
even
right?
then, it's stealing, and I think misleading aspiring vocalists, especially, where it's just like, oh, it's got that sample from a Nas song. It's got a sample from that Lil Uzi Vert song. Oh, cool. It's like, if you register that song under your name,
It's not happening.
it's not happening.
It's not happening. It's gonna get taken down pretty quick.
And
probably.
it's not always going to be a weekend scenario where it's like, just make the songs using whatever samples you want on the mixtape, and then the record company that buys the rights to the mixtape
We'll clear
and
it
releases it as trilogy.
I mean, look
you
what
know?
happened to Kendrick. As soon as Good Kid, Mad City dropped, he got a bunch of lawsuits on his old jazz rap stuff that he sampled.
So as soon
and-
as he hit
And
the level
to
of
Pimp a
success,
Butterfly, like both, probably like both. He had like some lawsuits come up because it was like, oh, let me listen to his music. That's my grandpa's music. Blah, blah, blah. I gotta. Anyways, back to your original point though.
doing
before I
your
get too far,
research, yeah.
do your research. It's pretty easy. They usually have their emails out there. You just have to make sure that you have your budget, because I bought all of my instrumentals for Sun Indigo outright. I have so many tracks on Divine Wisdom. I could not do that. It's one of those things where I'm gonna have to like figure out how to go back in time and spend money on those and buy them outright, because I want to be able to eventually sync license like all of them in movies or something, like that's another thing. If you lease stuff, you're limited. You can perform it, you can get viral. It's like you can still do things, but like
You don't own it. You can't do whatever you want with.
that's why doing the brick and mortar work of making your own instrumentals or finding a producer who will like Jason is a good guy. He is like, you're just paying me for studio time. I'm not interested in making money off of you like in such a way, because he's already making money off of me, and he gets that, and I'm like, great, you're great.
As
Every
long
other
as
people will be
everybody's
like,
getting what
yo, you gotta
need.
give me 50% and this and that, and then you're already giving them like thousands of dollars
Right.
for like an album. So
It's
you're like,
pick one.
wow.
Pick one.
Pick
I'll
one.
give you the 50, or I'll
Pick
give
one,
you the
man.
money.
I'm not Eminem.
Right.
Like I'm not TikTok famous even. You know what I'm saying? Like,
But yeah, I think that falls right into place with doing your research. Is
Yeah.
figure out what an unlimited license is versus a temporary license.
Yep. Oh, definitely.
Exclusive. Unlimited
You read the
exclusive.
fine print, because sometimes there's people. I have this collaboration with my boy Tom. Super great song. We tried to reach out and buy full rights, and they were like, "I don't do that." And I was like, "Oh,
So he
what?"
makes more money off of leasing it to people, or what?
Well, no, he even took it down. He just says he doesn't fully ever sell his beats. He always will like keep like 20%. And I'm like, but it's like I'm paying you $1,000. You should be able to like.
Pick one. Pick
So now
one.
I'm not gonna buy this because like you still own. Anyways. So like I said though, that's why it's important, because like there'll be people who will have like their contracts and clauses. But when it comes to exclusives and all that, you have to be extra careful, because you got to make sure. I've heard of people like on Twitter talking about, I bought this beat exclusively, but then they could still sell it somehow and I'm like, that's bad
Shiesty.
business.
Yeah.
Shiesty.
I mean, already with the exclusive, anybody who bought it before you gets to still use it.
I've dealt with people online who I found on YouTube or BeatStars, and I almost had this full album alone, And I'm actually glad it disappeared because it was okay, whatever. But it was training grounds. But this dude had the craziest beats, and he kept pumping them out. And now I know if they pump them out really fast, you have to check like if they just steal those nice samples from like really popular artists. I didn't even know until like I listened to more like artists that were like recent. I was like, oh my God, you're stealing from Hiatus Coyote. You're stealing this from FKJ. Like this is literally like their intro, and you're just looping it. Like, and then, you know, I bought all these instrumentals from this guy, Blue Magic Beat Co. I'm going to call him out. He didn't talk to me for a year, and eventually PayPal sent me back the money that I spent. I spent like $500 or something on some beats, and he just didn't say anything, and like half of the beats were corrupted. The files were corrupted.
What the heck?
So it's like...
What the heck?
You, like I said, like...
Gotta cover your butt.
There's levels, but at the same time, I'll say this. Anytime something has gone wrong, it felt like it was meant to happen because I needed to make something better. So you also got to think, I got to roll with the punches. This hurts my heart that I couldn't release this song, but I'm gonna bet when I released Sun Indigo, I didn't even think about those other songs. When I'm, you know,
forward.
You move forward. Yeah, I mean, every once in a while I'll look back and be like, what about that song? Maybe like a demo Bandcamp record or something, you know. But then those songs start getting further and further away, and you're like, that was just
small potatoes.
That was contributing to my 10,000 hours. That's all it was, you know? So I still have gratitude no matter what all the shicey stuff I've been through.
That's huge.
To lead me to the good people. You have to navigate, because when you first start out, you'll do anything to like get close, and like you have your shields down, because you don't know if like if you say no to something, maybe you won't even like go to like the next person, and that's what that's all about. That's my advice. Is
that's more
do your research,
advice.
But like just know if things fail, it adds to your experience. So
that's huge. I mean, we've had big losses, you know, laptop crashes, stuff like that, where it's just like you want to quit after
be
that
me, man.
forever. You want to quit forever.
I heard of that happen to some people like that I've known, and I'm like, a whole album, dude, a whole album.
/ like all the beats you have ever made.
I thought
just all the unmade songs.
Right. I thought just writing a whole album.
Right.
It was like hard.
That'd be crazy. Oh yeah, losing phones.
Writing recording.
I'm losing songs every time I lose a phone.
No,
it's just like
I would cry for a long time.
How did networking change with the reliance on social media with COVID? Did you find it easier or harder to network?
I actually kind of stopped networking the same way that I was doing, other than the publicist I hired.
Yeah.
Because honestly, when I tried to network, it was weird. I would try to reach up, and then people would be like, yeah, or something, and then like their manager would be like, no, and I'd be like, this isn't good. Like, if I can't even like talk to people who are like, you know, over here, but they're still in the same city, it's not even that big. I'm like, I might as well just like do my own thing and keep building with other people who are ready to also do their own thing and do something different. Because honestly, 70,000 songs, new songs released every day on Spotify. 70,000
a day. Growing.
The laptop musician is the most accessible thing like in the world right now. Eventually, when all the robots are made, they're going to make laws to be like, all right, if you're really bad, you can't upload it.
Yeah. Oh,
you can show us, but you can't upload it. And now imagine that.
I think that'll be the same with YouTube as well, where it's like if it doesn't, you know, by our definition, reach a level of quality or viewership, we just make that a private video.
And isn't that ironic that the gatekeepers in the industry actually had like, it was like an okay standard where like underground music was like still dope and separate, and like you had to dig for it, and like the pop music was like okay, and they tried their best to do creative stuff, you know, but like now it's like 70,000 songs. It's like, oh well, now that there's no gatekeepers, it actually ironically makes it slightly worse, because people will tell me, younger people, I even asked them, I was at this clinic doing some clinical trial thing for money, and
we got 1 minute.
1 minute. And one of the younger guys, I was like, oh, how do you listen to music? He's like, I just put on Spotify. I was like, oh, who's your favorite artist? He's like, I don't really pay attention. And more people are saying that. And I was like,
the playlists, yeah.
No, that's like the worst. Like, I'm such an active music listener. Otherwise, why would you even care? You know, it's just background noise. You might as well just listen to instrumental music at that point, you know?
Better for the thinking. But yeah, first track, The Morning, off of
Divine Wisdom.
the So
So
is this the
upcoming.
first single, the
First single.
first time being played on the radio right now?
First time being played on the radio.
Oh baby! All right. Well, we will see you guys next week. Follow Phillip St. John on Instagram. Check out all his projects all over the place. Phillip St. John.
This is The Morning,
Spotify,
and then the titular track off Sun Indigo after this. SunDogs present Local Vibe.
I start my morning with the yawn and the stretch. My hair disheveled like it's modern art on top of my stench. Clean up my teeth, my body hair, look in the mirror, I'm fresh. My crooked smile is funny, laugh, I got the world to conquer next. So I cook some breakfast and I can't forget that glass of OJ. Sun is shining on me, so I think that I'll be okay. Write my affirmations, get myself elevated instead of scrolling and hating like I'm a troll in this cave. Then my feet start moving and shaking, I got some music to write. I might just pass the feeling to you if I see it tonight. I gotta reach as many people while I'm here with my light. So pass the flame and let it burn bright. Let it burn bright now. 6 in the morning, go ahead. 6 in the morning, go ahead. From the thoughts I think to the words I say, it's gonna be a good day. 6 in the morning, go ahead. 6 in the morning, go ahead. From the thoughts I think to the words I say, it's gonna be a good day. Ain't worried cause my higher power's in my corner. Got some action I can take, don't care if steps are out of order. Cause I learned from my mistakes, that's how my paint be looking fuller. On the canvas I create to get emotions in me sorted. Sorta borderline crazy from my story. Now I'm saving up and storing it for when I'm acting normal on the daily. To the corporate zombies hating every minute till they play the sham and vibe to every flavor. Got your mama and the baby singing. Whoa, I'm here for the moment. Good things on the way and I know it. If I try just a little, my soul lifts high. I'm golden, shine on me. Whoa, I'm here for the moment. Good things on the way and I know it. If I try just a little, my soul lifts high. I'm golden. Now everybody now. 6 in the morning, go ahead. 6 in the morning, go ahead. From the thoughts I think to the words I say, it's gonna be a good day. 6 in the morning, go ahead. 6 in the morning, go ahead. From the thoughts I think to the words I say, it's gonna be a good day.
Can I just keep sleeping?
Yeah, it's struggles. But we coming back. Get this, right? He felt the changes in the belly of his city. Burnt down buildings, rebuilding on solid vision. Working day and night, trying to silence his ear critic. Trying to find some light that'll stay when his gear shifted. To paint the sun indigo. Put wisdom on top of optimism. It's not a given, it's the higher road. Transmute the pain in the painting to make it solid gold. The holy grail on this trail I needed to find was open. Never did I think I wouldn't turn to ash and fade away for months because I needed space. And never did I think I'd have to heal from cuts and scrapes given to me by some people that I trusted but were fake. But that's on me to some extent, and I repent for idol worship in these verses. No one's perfect, so it's settled then. I'll be moving forward from the circus tent to worthy friends who love me like I love them and will struggle with me till the end. If we try, we can shine, we can make it if we put love over all of our hurt. The only thing I can promise that works, and it works, and it works, yo. If we try, we can shine, we can make it if we have faith while we're walking this road. It's not a race, don't be afraid to ride slow. Dear Father, I wish you were here with me instead of dearly departed to show me the way to harvest. Cause lately I felt a target on me, hit them was discarded. The scars on my mental fresh, but I know I am more than flesh and I'm bigger than what they said. I've been digging within a nest of these hornets that want to sting because they're lonely and depressed. Feeling tired of a government, how the voices repressed when we're fighting for real change. So they give us the 2 cents. And lately I think they're faking, don't listen to what they say. Politicians are bought with money, I'm feeding whoever's hungry. I'm seeing the truth that's ugly, stay filling my own cup. No longer free to take it from me. No, you can't take it from me. Yeah. I'm my rock now, out of my own. I won't won't be knocked down, I will be known. I am sunrise, I am indigo. Go, 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 go. If we try, we can shine, we can make it if we put love over all of our hurt. The only thing I can promise that works, and it works, and it works, yo. If we try, we can shine, we can make it if we have faith while we're walking this road. It's not a race, don't be afraid to ride slow. To all the people that supported me, I love you. To all the family in my corner, bet I love you. To those opposing what I bring, I still love you. Cause hate don't drive hate out like love do. Yeah, to all the people that supported me, I love you. To all the family in my corner, bet I love you. To those opposing what I bring, I still love you. Cause hate don't drive hate out like love do. Yeah. Golden ultraviolet rays bring comfort to me in spite of pain that lingers. But I will not give in. The lonely evenings won't hold me back. No treason won't hold me back. I see it, I see my path. If we try, we can shine, we can make it if we put love over all of our hurt. The only thing I can promise that works, and it works, and it works, yo. If we try, we can shine, we can make it if we have faith while we're walking this road. It's not a race, don't be